So first of all, I have to say congratulations for pulling off this really exciting movie. Of
Thank
course,
you.
these sort of thriller films, you got me hooked, because
good.
growing up, I watch a lot of Hong Kong movies. So watching this, I feel like another, exciting. You keep the audience in the seat and wonder, what's gonna happen next. So before the interview start, you mentioned that you used to live in Hong Kong. So I wonder, do you watch a lot of Hong Kong films?
I did, and I have. I mean, I wouldn't say I watch a lot, more than the average person, but I mean, I like watching them, and I've always liked them. They're like, they're fun films. I mean, they just, you have a good time with them.
Right. Just don't take it so serious, right?
No, of course
especially
not.
John Woo.
Oh, well, I mean, John Woo's a good director, though. I like John Woo. If you want to put everything in slow motion, then I love John
Without
Woo.
the fight scenes, right?
And there's always doves.
So first off, I have to ask you about shooting a movie like this where you don't rely on green screen and special effects. You decide to use a lot of actual stunts for this film.
In fact, everything.
Everything. So what were the risks involved shooting all these stunts?
I mean, there's a lot of risks involved from the crew behind the camera because they have to be very close in sort of the line of fire of wherever these cars are going. And obviously the stunt crews actually performing the stunts, they're doing these stunts at 50, 60 miles an hour, which you can see from the movie, so you can see how fast they're going. They're extremely dangerous, and their precision. They have to be planned out and, choreographed and orchestrated perfectly, and also around the cameras we want. And they were all practical locations, so you're dealing with the environments that you're given. And so it is very dangerous, in so much as that on any given shot, any given day, somebody could get really badly injured or even die, and it's happened on many movies. So in that part of it, it's scary, but that's what we do every single day, and so everybody shows up there, and that's what they're prepared to do. And thankfully, knock on wood, there were no deaths in the movie.
No injuries?
There were some injuries. There's always injuries when you do something like that.
You can't avoid that, right?
No, you really can't. Not with the number of stunts that we did. I mean, we destroyed 130 cars making this movie.
Wow.
So we did a lot of stunts, and everything you see in those trailers, and then obviously when you see the movie, or when the audience sees the movie, everything is practical in that movie. And there was something that is different and more authentic to the way they used to make these movies, where they didn't use CG to do these things and computer effects, and instead, actually had to practically do these things. And we sort of took that to an extreme level that they couldn't do when they made these movies that way, because we now could, with the technology we have and the ability to put those cameras everywhere and show these dynamic angles and really make you feel like you're in it.
So now, can you talk about casting?
Yeah, sure. In casting the movie, there were two main characters, and they're stuck mainly in this car for most of the movie. One is Ethan Hawke's character, Brent Magna, and he's an ex-Nascar driver who's essentially a blue-collar guy. He just lives with his wife. He has a simple life, and then he comes home one day, and when I read the script, I thought, wow, this is interesting, in so much as if I thought to myself, God forbid I ever came home, my place was a wreck, and a loved one was taken, and I had some skill, like being able to direct a movie or produce a movie, and somebody called me and said, if you don't produce my movie, I'm going to kill your loved one. What would I do? And if you call anybody, I'm going to kill them, if you call the police or anybody else. And, we've all heard stories in real life that stuff happens, obviously, not every day, thankfully. And so then what would you do if you had a skill or something that could do it? You would follow the person's instructions because you'd be too scared that they'd actually follow through with their threat. And so I wanted a guy that could play that, not necessarily like an action star that you'd expect to put behind the wheel and be doing this action movie because they've got bravada and whatever else. And Ethan Hawke is not, known as being an action star, although he's been doing these bigger sort of movies of recently, but he's really known as an actor. And I wanted somebody that we could feel that aspect of, and as well could sustain us being in the car for so long. And I could buy that he was an ex-NASCAR driver, and he actually went down and trained with NASCAR drivers as to how they drive and drove around the tracks, and he actually did 3 days of the stunt work on the movie as well. Wow. So he actually, really sort of became the part and the character. So that's how I cast Ethan, and he was actually my first choice, and I got him. So that was great. And he did the movie for similar reasons. He was like, this is so simple, but I've always wanted to see something like this play out on the big screen. It's just fun. And it was that simple, and he does very, you know, he's got a great career and a great, you know, repertoire of stuff that he's done. Now, the kid beside him, they come from completely walks of life, different walks of life. They have nothing to do with each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I needed an 18-year-old girl, and I was being given actresses that were like 27 to play 18. And it just didn't seem authentic, you know?
Did it make sense to you, right?
No, it didn't make sense. And what also didn't make sense to me was the kid, as written, was a character that was very, you know, young and at that transitional stage where she's trying to be tougher than she really is, and she's trying to figure out who she is. She's very bright, but she comes from a good family and background, and she's actually a nice person underneath. And so I thought to myself, you know, when Selena's name came up, she's actually perfect for this because there's a great contrast between them, because she is actually known for being this nice person, you know, in life and in the roles she's played previously, and she was looking to transition to do things that were a little bit more edgy than what she'd done in the past. And she showed up and did great. And when I spoke to Ethan about it, he was like, it's an odd choice, but actually it's kind of cool. And then we met her and heard her take on it, and said, you know what, she can actually pull this off, and she did a great job. And John Voight, you know, I needed somebody that could be a character without being on screen very long and have a great presence. So I needed a fantastic actor, and also one with a very sort of discernible and, you know, strong voice, because that is the character's name, the voice.
The voice.
And, you know, so we got John, and he just did a fantastic job.
And so now, after this film, what is your plan for next movie? What's your
Well,
next
I need
project?
to like rest for a bit because I've been doing this movie for 2
how long?
years.
2 years?
Yeah, for 2 years.
And you shot this where?
Bulgaria primarily, also in Atlanta,
Okay.
and a teeny bit in LA.
Okay.
So, you know, John, after this movie will do this. I have 2 producing projects set to go, and another directing project that I can't talk about, and then a bigger project. So I've got a bunch of things to do, but I'm going to take about a month off and chill out for a bit, and
Go to
then
Hong Kong?
get back into it. No, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to chill out. My closet is a mess at home. My office at home is a mess. I've got at least 15 of those 30 days just cleaning up stuff that I haven't touched for 2
Hire
years.
me! Come on.
No, I gotta organize my own stuff.
Okay.
It's just junk that's been piling from all my traveling, okay? And I've got to go through it. It's boxes. It's like I don't even live in my own house. I just have boxes and suitcases.
Well, congratulations.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
And we look forward to talk to you again in your next project.
Absolutely.
Thank you
Likewise.
so much.
Thank you. Nice to meet you, Victoria.
Likewise.
Pleasure.